Salute you people and welcome back to Numbers Off the Hook. Today we're going to talk about two different types of operators. We're going to talk about addition and we're going to talk about subtraction. Okay? So you might think this is quite a simple thing, how to add and subtract numbers, but it gets quite tricky. So please grab your pen and notepad and let's do this together, guys. Okay? So first, I want you guys to notice one thing. Sometimes we do write something like plus 2 or simply 2. We can say minus 3 or minus 5. Here, these signs here, the plus sign and the minus signs, indicate whether it's a positive number or a negative number. So we have plus and minus signs, right? But another way we do is we write something like, for example, 3 plus 2, or 5 minus 7, or 8 minus 2. Here, the plus and minus sign means something else. Here, we talk about addition and subtraction. So plus and minus means different things. Here, the plus and minus sign tells you whether a number is positive or whether it's negative. But when we write the plus and minus sign this way, we talk about addition, adding those numbers together, or subtraction. So this is quite tricky. So to understand this, one thing we normally use is something we call the number line. Okay? We call it the number line. Okay? And the number line is very simple. It's simply a line at the end of the day. Here we have a line. In the middle of the line, we have 0. And then when we move to the right, the numbers are going to keep increasing. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, etc. Keeps going. These numbers that are to the right of 0, these guys are positive numbers. To the left, we keep decreasing. So we are going like minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5, minus 6, minus 7, and we keep going on like that. Minus 8, minus 9, keeps going. These numbers here are negative. Okay? So here, this minus sign, it tells you that this is a negative number. So we see that the minus sign can mean different things. Here it means the difference between 5 and 7. Here we talk about a negative number. So we got to keep that in mind when we add and subtract numbers. That's super important. So here again, we have the number line. And now we're going to use the number line in order to understand how subtraction and addition works. Okay? So I want you to think of addition as facing this way. Okay? And I want you to think of subtraction as facing to the left. A positive number, we think of it as taking steps forward. And a negative number, we think of it as taking steps backward, okay? So let's do this. So here I have 4 different examples that I want us to calculate the value, okay? So we always start in the middle at 0, and we always start by facing to the right, okay? Now it says plus 2 here. There's an invisible plus here. This is a positive number 2. So a positive number 2 means move forward. How many steps? We're going to move forward 2 steps. So let's do that. We move 2 steps. 2. We end up here, okay? Now we're here. Now we have a plus sign, but this is an addition sign. Here it means keep facing forward. Keep facing forward. But because there's a negative number here, we're gonna take steps backward. So basically, first what we did is we took 1 step and 2 steps forward. Now, because we have a -3, we're gonna take 1, 2, 3 steps backward. So it's going to be like this. So this is 2. And then we have plus -3. So we can see here that this is the same thing as 2 minus 3. So 2 plus -3 became 2 minus 3. Please notice here that this sign here is the negative sign, and this is the subtraction sign. They look the same, they mean different things. And we see that the result is -1. 2 minus 3 is equal to -1, which fits with what we see here. We see that we ended up at -1. Okay? Okay, we start here facing this way. This is how we always start. And now we're gonna go 3. 3 is a positive number, so we're gonna move forward 3 steps. So we go like this. We end up here. That's 3. Okay? Now we have a subtraction. It means we're going to face this way. Okay? So now we face this way. And now we're gonna take 3 steps back. 1, 2, 3. So we're gonna end up here. Let me just fix this quickly. We have a 5 here and 6 here. So it's gonna be so this part is -3. Okay? Why? Because first we walked 3 steps, we came here, right? We were facing this way. It was a positive number, so we go forward. 1, 2, 3. Then we have a subtraction. Subtraction means face this way. And then we have a negative number, which means walk backwards. 1, 2, 3. And we ended up at 6. So we can see here that these 2 things, the minus, it actually became a plus. So 3 minus -3 is equal to 3 plus 3. So you can think of it as minus equal plus. Okay? And this is equal to 6. And this 6, you can see here that we ended up at 6. So we have our little guy here. He's facing this way. Think of it as a computer game and you have your controls, okay? So he's facing this way. That's always how we start. But here we have minus 2. This minus 2 means that this is negative 2. It doesn't mean subtraction, okay? So to clarify that, we could add a couple of brackets like this to clarify that this is negative 2, okay? And now we face this way. It's a negative number, so we're going to walk backwards. We're going to walk minus 2 steps. 1, 2. It's going to be like this. Boom. That's minus 2. Now we're here. Now we have subtraction. Subtraction means we're going to switch. Now we're facing this way. We're facing this way because of this minus sign here. And then we're going to go minus 2. We're going to go again 2 steps backwards. But now we're facing this way. So we're going to go back where we came from. So this part here is minus 2. And we were back again at 0. So basically minus 2 minus minus 2, we can think of it as plus 2. Minus 2 plus 2 equal 0. So here's our player number 1. He's facing this way. And now we start this way. And here, there's a minus sign here. So we interpret that as negative 3. So it means we're going to go backward 3 steps. And we'll end up here. This is minus 3. Negative 3. Here's a plus sign. That means we're going to keep facing this way. Right? That's addition. But we're going to walk backwards because it's a negative number, 3 steps. 1, 2, 3. So this part here is plus negative 3. So now we're at negative 6. So we can see here that minus 3 and this plus and minus becomes minus 3. So negative 3 plus negative 3 is equal to negative 3 minus positive 3. So minus 3, which is equal to minus 6. And that's correct, because we can see that we ended up here at minus 6. Okay? So next, guys, now we want to talk about how to add and subtract rational numbers. Okay? So first of all, what are rational numbers? Rational numbers are, you take an integer, you take a number like 4, and then you make a quotient with a number like 5. This is a rational number. Okay? This part here, the number on the top, we call this number, this thing here, we call it the numerator. Numerator. Okay? And the thing at the bottom, let's make that blue, we call this guy here denominator. Denominator. Okay? So there's one rule we have to learn now. It's that when we add or subtract rational numbers, the denominator, the thing here, has to be the same. Okay. When we add and subtract rational numbers, the denominator has to be the same. Okay. That's the rule. That's the rule that we have to learn. Here I have 6/10 minus 1/5. Okay. We can see this is two rational numbers, right? 6 and 10. That's the numerator, that's the denominator of the first rational number. Here we have minus 1/5. We have 1 is a numerator and 5 is a denominator. Now we can see that these two are not the same. The denominators are not the same. 10 is not the same as 5. So what do we do here? First, we'll make sure to use what we previously learned. We have a minus minus. And that was the thing when we face to the left and then walk backwards. So it became minus minus, became plus, right? So we have 6/10 plus 1/5. Okay? This is what we did previously. Minus minus, subtracting a negative number became plus. Okay? Now we can see here one thing, that 10 divided by 2 is 5 and 6 divided by 2 is 3. So if we divide this by 2, then we have to divide this also by 2. So we can do 6 divided by 2 and then 10 divided by 2. And we keep this. This just carries over. 6 divided by 2, that's equal to 3. 10 divided by 2, that's equal to 5. And then we have the 1/5 remaining here. And now we can see that these have the same denominator. That was the goal. Now we can do this. We can put them on the same 5 here. And then we just add 3 plus 1. Which is equal to 4/5. Here we have 3/4 minus minus 1/4. Again, here we see we have minus minus. That's going to be plus. So we have 3/4 plus 1/4. Oh, and here we're kind of lucky because they already have the same denominator. 4. So we can simply do 3 plus 1/4, which is equal to 4/4. 3 plus 1 is equal to 4. But a number divided by itself is equal to 1. So the simple form is to write 1. Okay? Okay, we have 2/3 plus negative 3/2. So first, let's fix this sign problem. So as we saw before, plus and minus, it became minus. So 2/3 minus 3/2. Okay. Now we're gonna multiply this with 2, because 3 times 2 is equal to 6. And we're gonna multiply this with 3. So, because 2 times 3 is equal to 6, and then the denominator will be the same. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 2 multiplied with 2 divided by 3 multiplied with 2. That's this one. Minus 3 multiplied with 3 divided by 2 multiplied with 3. Okay? So this is equal to 4. This is equal to 6, right? 2 times 2 is equal to 4. 3 times 2 is equal to 6. Minus 3 times 3 is equal to 9. 2 times 3 is equal to 6. Okay? So now we can see that the denominator is the same. So now we can write 4 minus 9 divided by 6, which is equal to minus 5 divided by 6. And that's the answer. So this was quite tricky. So what happened here? Let's do it again. We took 2/3 plus negative 3/2. Okay? We cleaned this up because plus a negative number is just the same as subtracting. So it becomes 2/3 minus 3/2. Okay? That's a simplification. And now we wanted to make the denominators the same. So what we did is we multiplied this quotient with this denominator and this quotient with this denominator. So it became, here we put 2 times 2, and here it becomes 3 times 2, minus, here it becomes 3 times 3, and it became 2 times 3. And then 2 times 2 is equal to 4, 3 times 2 is equal to 6, 3 times 3 is equal to 9, and 2 times 3 is equal to 6. So this way of cross multiplying with the denominator, it always gives you the same denominator. Once we have the same denominator, we can put it on the same quotient, and then we have the answer, minus 5, 6. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and more importantly, I hope you really learned something, and now you know how to very carefully add and subtract numbers.